What is going on, Beamer fam? Welcome back. My name is AJ and you're watching the Beamer Dude channel, and today I want to talk about the 5 reasons why you need to pick up an E46 M3 right now. You don't want to miss out on this one, so stay tuned. Okay, so if you clicked on today's video, you know exactly what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the E46 M3 and why you need to pick up one right now if you don't have one. And I'll start the topics off with this one right here. We've all seen it. We've all begun to see it. You see YouTubers. Once a YouTuber gets their hands on a car, all bets are off. All the heritage, everything about the car kind of goes out the window. We've seen 240s with BMW engines. We've seen BMWs with 240 engines. We've seen everything under the sun. And that's why I feel these things are going to be very, very hard to find in their OEM configuration. And by OEM configuration, I do mean the straight inline 3.2 liter 6-cylinder engine with its ITB setup. A lot of individuals are swapping out these engines and putting in LS motors. Now, I do know that LS everything or LS the world is a quite big movement. I do love a good throaty LS. But swapping it into an E46 M3 just seems wrong. And by doing so, you are killing the overall sales value for the vehicle unless you're selling it to a drifter or somebody who's going to modify it even more than that. But keeping that in mind, every E46 M3 that gets a different motor swapped in, be it a 2JZ or a 1JZ or an LS motor, means there's one less E46 on the road in stock configuration, which makes them even more rare than they are right now. But it really wasn't all that long ago since we were being told to completely avoid the SMG E46 M3. The SMG gearbox came out at a very unfortunate time in BMW's history where they were trying to create the DCT transmission, and basically they were in their infancy, and it really wasn't a great transmission at all. Now, I know some people swear by the transmission and the almighty CSL E46 M3 came in only that configuration, but we all know it's trash, and we're all just waiting for it to die.
Oh, you don't have my guys like that. Yeah, you bet.
So we can swap in a proper manual transmission.
Oh yeah.
Anyone who actually owns an SMG transmission on purpose is literally just waiting for it to die so they can swap it out with a proper manual transmission.
Oh, it seems like it's always me.
You know I'm right. But you can always count on the enthusiasts to always find little Easter eggs that BMW left behind, and I'm talking about the SMG gearbox being exactly the same as the E46 M3 6-speed that came equipped from the factory. And you know, it truly is only a matter of time before performance shops start picking the E46 M3s up off of the market, swapping them to 6-speed themselves, and tagging on another $20,000, making them completely out of reach of the average individual. Reason number 3 has to do with serviceability. It's an area of the E46 that no one really likes to talk about. Yes, we talk about Dr. Vanos, and you can do the Vanos yourself. We talk about the rod bearings that go bad at 70,000 miles if the car wasn't maintained with a strict oil change regimen. No, I'm not talking about that at all. What I'm talking about is serviceability and availability of parts. I've been doing this a very long time, and one thing that I've noticed are trends when it comes to parts dropping and availability of parts that are not just from the dealer. And I'll give you one example. For the non-M E46 M3, a very long time ago, you probably remember that you could only get water pumps from a dealership and maybe from O'Reilly's, and they cost anywhere from $80 to $150 and about 20% more at the dealer. Probably all just coming from the exact same place that our aftermarket distributors were getting them from, and you can get them for next to nothing at cost. Which brings me to my point of the E46 M3. That very same thing is beginning to happen with parts for this car. You want a water pump for this car, you can now get an aftermarket one. It may not cost $25 like a non-M E46, but it's definitely half the cost that you would see at a dealership, and it's exactly what you're going to start seeing at your counterparts, your Advance Autos, your O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and your other local European specialty parts store. Another great example of this is suspension parts. The E46 M3 is littered with suspension parts that are inherent to the E46 only, and you could only normally get them from the dealership only, or special order from ECS Tuning or Bavarian Auto Sports, all those places, and East Control Arm on the E46 M3. If you ever replaced one before from OEM, you know they're really expensive. They're somewhere in the range of $300 each. Kind of the same setup with the ZHP. They have their own caster built into them specifically for the E46. I've recently seen on eBay and on Amazon these starting to pop up for about $150 for a pair. Yeah, that's a pair for these. Now, I have yet to test one myself, but believe me, I will be testing it for you guys out there. But that is another great indication that it's going to start getting a lot easier to maintain these vehicles and not have to worry so much about those parts that begin to get really expensive over time. Reason number 4 is another observation of mine. If you have 2 eyes and you have 2 ears, you've probably been noticing the prices jumping up on high mileage E46 M3s. Now, there's a big reason for that. The reason why it's such a big deal is that these motors are beginning to prove themselves as tried and true and tested. So that pretty much means that if you buy E46 M3 with 170 plus thousand miles, that you could probably still have years and years left of good service out of it, especially if you have good service history. I personally have still yet to see very high mileage E92 M3s, and that's for a very good reason. The high-strung V8s were never really built to last, and I don't think it was BMW's intention, but that is definitely the result that we are seeing, and the E46 M3s are just holding up a lot better, in my personal opinion. Yes, a rough version might have a subframe issue or two, and it may need every single bushing known to man, but rest assured, you take care of those items and the car will definitely take care of you. Alright guys, so the 5th and final reason why you need to pick up an E46 M3 right now, I'm sorry to say, has to do with this global pandemic, the coronavirus. Now, I know buying a car is not something you would think would be a high priority at this point in time, but let me explain. Let's take a middle-class income family household, for example. Somebody who has the ability to work from home. Let's say that individual now is not driving to work. They're not putting gas in their car. They're eating food at home, which means they are going to build up money, which means they're going to have pent-up buyer's regression. They're going to want to buy something. They're not going to be able to order things on eBay like they should for a good amount of time, and the moment that things go back to normal, they're going to want to buy something that they've been watching, they've been panning after, they've been looking at on Facebook, they've been looking at an OfferUp, they're looking at on Craigslist for months, and now they have the opportunity to buy, and they're going to buy them. They're easy to maintain, and they're going to spend nothing but time watching YouTube videos on why you should buy an E46 M3. Sorry to say it, guys, you know I'm right. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for my 5 reasons why I think you should pick up the E46 M3 right now. Again, guys, these are my opinions. However, if you do have 2 eyes, you can probably see the writing on the wall, and I just want to present them the best way I possibly could. Anyway, guys, I really want to thank you guys for watching the Beamer Dude channel. Please be safe out there. Wash your hands. I'll be trying my best to provide weekly content like I have been. You guys have been awesome, killing it on the E46 M3 videos. Don't know what I'll be able to do since it'll be kind of harder to order parts and do things, but I will keep it interesting for you guys if you guys promise to stay tuned. So if you haven't already, go down to the description down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that alert button so you can be alerted every time I upload a video. So anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching the Beamer Dude channel, and as always, guys, peace out and Godspeed, guys.